Hi, and welcome to the 10-minute Bible study. This is a series of videos that I hope to do over time, and I hope you will find it a great help to you. My name is Michael Venema, and I've been doing a number of different videos this last while, and please take a look at them when you can. You'll see them on my YouTube channels. One of them is called 16 Minute Church, which is where you'll find this video, and I have another channel called Michael Venema, which are a little longer talks and a little more in depth. So in this series, what I want to do is I want to look at the story of Jesus as Luke told it. There are four accounts of the life of Jesus: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the Bible. It's very cool to have four accounts, but I want to look at Luke. And part of the reason I'm doing this 10-minute series is because I have been doing something called 10-minute church, and that has often included a few minutes of looking at Luke, but I'm thinking that it might be better to have just a video series that's just focused on looking at Luke's gospel, and during 10-minute church we'll do some other things. So of course you can see those videos as well. They're on this same channel called 16 Minute Church. So in the 10-minute churches, I've done some of Luke already, so I'm just going to recap very quickly what we've seen so far in Luke's gospel, and then we're going to, if there's still time left, we're going to cover some new ground. So Luke opens up in a very interesting way. Luke is writing for a particular person, so we get to kind of listen in. And this person's name is Theophilus. And Luke mentions his name when Luke says Theophilus. I thought it was very good. I thought it would be really good if I would go out and talk to as many of the eyewitnesses of Jesus as possible, and then arrange all the stuff that I've discovered into an orderly account of Jesus' life. And so this is Luke's method. He goes and gets as close to the people as he can, people who actually knew Jesus, and puts together his gospel. So it's kind of cool, because I don't know about you, but I like to trust things that are true, and I'm more likely to trust that they're true if they come straight from the source. So Luke is going straight to the sources and sharing with Theophilus and now us what he's discovered. So this happened, of course, around 2,000 years ago, just shortly after Jesus was very active. He had died, he was raised, and Jesus returned to his home, which is heaven. But other people, of course, are followers of his, are starting churches and all these other cool things. And so Luke is putting together this account of Jesus' life for Theophilus. And no doubt, when Luke was finished, he either delivered it to Theophilus or he sent it to him by way of a long letter. And now we also get to read it. So that's how it starts. And then Luke starts off with some stories of remarkable births. They are the stories of the birth of John the Baptist and the story of the birth of Jesus. And they are remarkable births. John the Baptist's birth was remarkable because John the Baptist's mother was old. She was way beyond the age when people would expect anyone to have a child. And yet she has a child. Now there are a number of remarkable births in the pre-Jesus parts of the Bible, the Old Testament. So for these people, the Jewish people, having a remarkable birth was remarkable, but it was something that from time to time would happen in there, and they remembered these births. And so this is what was happening to John the Baptist's mother, named Elizabeth. Now Jesus' mother is named Mary, and her birth or the birth of Jesus from Mary is the most remarkable of all the births in the Bible, because Jesus' mother had not had any sexual relations with a man, and yet she becomes pregnant. So this is a miracle of the Spirit of God. In these opening pages of Luke, Mary and Elizabeth meet when they're both pregnant, and they just rejoice, that God is doing this remarkable thing. And one of the reasons they're so happy, maybe the main one, is, well, of course, they're going to become mothers, which, most people who are going to become mothers really think is a wonderful thing. there's that. But also, when there were remarkable births in the pre-Jesus parts of the Bible, it always meant that someone was going to be born who is going to be a great help to the people. And when John the Baptist and Jesus are born, it's a very tough time for God's people. They are being governed very cruelly by the Romans, and they can't wait to get rid of the Romans, but the Romans have been around a long time, and it does not look good. So the people are in trouble, and when God promises them through angels come and tell them that they're going to become pregnant, when these promises are made, Elizabeth and Mary are very happy, because now it looks like God is on the move, and he's going to reach out and help his people, the Jewish people, through the two people who were going to be born. That is, and they were John the Baptist and Jesus. So then we get to the second chapter of Luke, Luke chapter 2. And if you've ever been in a church around Christmas time, you have probably heard these stories read, the story of Jesus' birth, shepherds in the field, wise men coming, the town of Bethlehem, angels in the sky announcing to the shepherds that Jesus is born. So this is a wonderful and joyful part of the Bible where Jesus, the Son of God, is born. And you might remember part of the story. Jesus is born to Mary and Joseph in the village of Bethlehem. They are traveling at that time. There is no room in any of the hotels. They have to go to a barn to spend the night, and that's where Jesus is born. And it's kind of a neat thing, because here's Jesus, the Son of God, born not in a great palace, but born in a humble place, in a barn. And his parents didn't even have a proper bed to lay Jesus. They found a feeding trough, and they kind of arranged the straw and some of the cloths and laid him in the feeding trough as his first bed. And Jesus got visited in this story. He got visited by some shepherds, some farmers of sheep. They had learned about the birth of Jesus from angels, and they rushed into Bethlehem to see if everything was as the angels had said. And that's exactly how they found these things. And so this is the opening parts of the book of Luke. So I'm going to go on for a few more minutes, and when we hit the 10-minute mark, I'm going to kind of wrap things up, because I want to keep these down to 10 minutes, and so that they're kind of doable for you to watch. And I'm going to try and do at least one a week. So now we get to some new ground which we haven't looked at yet, and this is the 8th day of Jesus having being a child, being alive. It's 8 days after his birth, and Jesus was Jewish. And in the Jewish faith, when a child was 8 days old, the time would come for Jesus to be brought to the Jewish temple, and they would circumcise the child, and they gave him his name and so forth. And so when this happened, there were two people at the temple, Simeon and Anna, who were very devout people, and they were looking for God to do something great. And when Joseph and Mary brought Jesus to the temple to be circumcised and to be given his name and all these things, then Simeon and Anna understood that this was a special child, and that God was going to do something amazing through Jesus. And so they rejoice. And Simeon is quite old, and he ends up saying something very sweet. He says, God, now I've seen the child through whom you are going to do some amazing work. I've seen him, and now I'm ready to leave this life and pass away. So Simeon and Anna had been waiting for God to reveal to them his next steps, how he's going to help his people. and then they see Jesus, and now they know. So this is a great spot to end our first 10-minute Bible study. So I hope that's been helpful. The stories of Jesus are incredibly hopeful, and you probably picked up, in what I've been saying, the tremendous work of God working with His people, the Jewish people who are in trouble. But a new day is coming, and let's see what's going to happen. So thanks for watching. Please please leave a comment, please subscribe, and share. And thanks so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.